All right, NXT, the show you love. Really not. I'm just saying it just to be sarcastic. But before we get started, I got to tell you a little bit of housekeeping. We have 2 pay-per-views on the same day next month. That's December 9th. Final Resolution and Deadline. That's what we got. NXT will be the last show for WWE because Survivor Series is for the main brand shows, but NXT's Deadline will be the last show for the year before pretty much Royal Rumble. So this is what's going to happen, and I am going to repeat this. When it comes to this, I will be doing Final Resolution that day. I will not be doing a Deadline. That will be the next day. Deadline will be next day. It will not be that same day. For me, I have to do it because this will be the last show of Impact Wrestling. After this, we'll have to wait until, of course, Hard to Kill when they do the full rebranding. And after Hard to Kill, they will be doing TNA. But before that, from December until January, it will still be Impact. But I got to do that show. So if you want a Deadline on a Saturday, you're not going to get it. But this show, and I'm making it clear, this show is building into Deadline. And I'm fine with it. In fact, I feel more from this than Survivor Series. Let me give it to you clear. When you look at what's been building up on Raw, what's building on SmackDown, I feel nothing. Yes, we are getting the War Games match. Yes, we're getting a couple of other matches. But do you actually feel anything? No. But I'll feel more here than I feel there. And understand, and I'm saying this again, which people don't understand. When you look at this show, this is Shawn Michaels' show. It is not hugely groundbreaking work. It is basic 101 pro wrestling booking. It is not like Tony Khan. It is not like Vince McMahon. It is not like Paul Levesque, Triple H. It's not even like pretty much Billy Corgan's booking or pretty much Scott D'Amore. This is Shawn Michaels taking a little bit of everything that he thinks works in his eyes and giving it to you. But it is better than the most of the main roster. Let's be clear. I feel more from here than I did on the main roster. Yes, we did have that Battle Royal, which meant nothing. Nothing. Now, mind you, I'm not going to say that Zoe Starks is not going to be interesting. She will. But look what they've done. They had 16 women, and the majority of them have already been seen, and the others have been sitting in the back. I don't feel nothing from them because they've been overused or underutilized. Here, at least, I recognize the women and see they are being used. Let's go to the Heritage Cup of Akira Tozawa versus Nolan Dar. I truly wish Akira should leave WWE to do something more serious, but he seems to be fine working where he is. This is what I would like to see for him, but remember, this is about what they feel. If he's satisfied with what he's with, going like this, doing that, having that personality and that booking, more power to him as long as he's happy and long he getting this. If he's comfortable, fine. 7 years in United States. 7 years he's been booked ridiculously dumb. But if he's happy, more power to him. But he went up against Nolan Dar, where the metaphor has done the same thing, kind of what's been going on with the Bloodline. I haven't said it myself, but we know the Bloodline has done certain things over and over again, and pretty much metaphor is done here. Menta has done the same thing. Last Legends has been saving pretty much Nolan Dar, and we kind of got a flash of her panties, and it was all dark down there, but she was probably wearing black panties anyway. But what did we get? First match, it was a tie. Second match, Nolan Dar won, but then he started elbowing and hitting Tozawa after the ring of the bell, which he did again in the third round. Fourth round is when Tozawa won. Fifth round was a tie in the sixth round due to the fact that Menta and Last Legends saving a Nolan Dar. We get the same thing. Honestly, I'm bored. Look, if they made this feel legitimate for most of the cruiserweights there. Let's make this clear. All those guys that are small, if they're not going after the North American title, they could be going after the Heritage Cup and making it mean something. But since they have it saddled on Nolan Dar, where they want to make it more of a comedic thing, it doesn't really feel like much. And with Akira Tozawa, who is a comedic wrestler, let's make it clear. Look what he's doing with pretty much Alpha Academy. That's what it's meant for now. They had something that was somewhat interesting, and now they're just making it a joke. At least with Frazier or Taylor or anyone else, it might at least be something they could defend once every couple of months. Maybe every 2 months. They could build into it. They don't want to. I'm just saying. Next, qualifying match for, do you really care about the Iron Survivor Challenge? Yes. I'm making it clear. For me personally, the Iron Survivor Challenge may be a stupid name, but is it interesting to present the younger talent? Yes. What do we get here? Tiffany Stratton against Fallon. Let's make it clear. Fallon Henley has been put through multiple storylines, but she really isn't that interesting. Look at Tiffany Stratton, who has not been as many storylines as Fallon has been through, but she's more interesting. It isn't just because she's a blonde like Fallon and got bigger boobs than Fallon. She talks better than Fallon to a certain extent. She has a better presence than Fallon, who has been in one type, where she's been basically a bartender. They could have gone a little bit more out of that, but they chose to keep her in the bartender type of mold. Now, Tiffany, yes, she's a Barbie. This is what she is. But she's like what type of Barbie? She would be like a karate Barbie. At least you know she's Barbie, but she's a karate expert. She's like Barbie, but she can be a stewardess. She's Barbie, but she could be a diplomat. She's that type of mold. She's a Barbie, but she can be more than a Barbie. And that's what I get from Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, and she's got these. She's sexy. Let's not lie about it. And I'm not saying Fallon is chopped liver either, but Fallon feels like a bartender. And that could be a guy or a girl. That's what she is. She's not trying to be more than a bartender. She's a bartender that is wrestling. Tiffany is a Barbie who pretty much can do something more than just be pretty and showing her boobs and showing her ass and trying to talk cute like a valley girl. She can wrestle. And that's why she won. That's the reason why she won. And I agree with it. There's no way they're not going to be pushing Tiffany. Even I can see she needs to be pushed. Is she ready for the main roster? No. But does she need to be pushed? Yes. Let's move on. The next match, this made no sense. I would rather seen this at Deadline. Why did they rush this? Was it because they just wanted to get it over with? Because that's what it feels like. Von Wagner versus Braun Breaker. Let's make it clear. Did I expect Braun Breaker to win? Hell yes, I did. Because it keeps showing that Von is going like, he's still not clear. And they showed a little bit of real life. Because remember, Von Wagner had a fused skull. So they showed the scars of that fused skull. Which was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They were trying to say that was from the hit that he received from Braun Breaker. No. Von Wagner had a fused skull. They had to cut his skin off his scalp and crack his skull so it can grow. That's what they had to do. That was the scar. So showing his actual scar was actually a nice thing to do. There was no problem with that. I believe that was much needed to show what he once was and to kind of go along with the story because Von's skull was cracked. They're trying to say his skull was cracked, but here you don't need to put some type of makeup or anything or try to fake it. His skull had been cracked open by doctors. So the only thing I had to do was just shave this part of his head, show it, and it's totally believable because it's true. Did I think he was going to win? Hell no. I expected him to lose. And I also expected him to powerbomb pretty much a Braun Breaker through a table. That's what he does. I'm going to table him, which he always does. But here's the thing. He pretty much got his ass cleaned. He lost the match. Yes, he put breaker through the table, and he had his moment with Mr. Stone saying, put it there, you won, you did it, even though he lost. The question now is where they're going to go with him. I would have rather waited until Deadline for this. Have a quick match, but not for him to get over, not for him to win. In any way, he should have never even had that moment. He should have just collapsed in the ring after Vaughn had nailed him and left it like that, and then he has to go back to the therapy. And then he wants to get back at Braun, who nails a Stone, who could come in with a neck brace. And that would motivate Vaughn even more. That would have been better. But it looked like they just wanted to get over with before Deadline. And I believe that was dumb. Unless they have something for him to do, like maybe go to the main roster, which makes no sense. He's not ready, but that's what we get. Moving on. Here is a tag match because of the breakout star. Well, the women's breakout tournament. We got Lola Vice winning. And due to the fact that Lola had to be cheating to win, and Jordan was angry, and well, let me give it to you like this. It's all because of Roxanne Perez getting up in the face of Elektra and Lola. That's where they got this match from. Now, I am not going to tell you it was a bad match. It wasn't. But what does this really mean for the breakout winner? Because they need to build her up to go up against Valkyria, which I'll get to in a minute. But that is a question of when it'll happen, not if it'll happen. It's when. Now, of course, the faces won. No problem. And it was, what was that woman's name? Grace, the pageant, the Miss WWE coming out, announcing everyone to have a chance. I forgot what her name, Angelina or something. Can't remember. But Grace comes out, announces all 4 women. Beautiful woman. Does it again, and then gets nailed by someone who was in the breakout tournament. I can't remember her name. What was it? Patreon? Or Patria? Patria? What was her name? I can't remember. You guys are going to tell me below. But pretty much now she gets nailed in heels. And pretty much she's going to probably have a match with her. That'll probably be their real first feud for both of them. At least you'll get a feud from them. But I don't know what's going to happen with those 4. I just don't. Because it's going to count on when they do the Iron Survivor Challenge. Who's going to go up against who? Because at this point, you don't really need Lola going up against a Jordan because she already has a ironclad contract whenever they're going to have that done. Because I don't know what's going to happen with Valkyria, which I should get to now. Valkyria having a moment in the ring. Now, I want to make this clear. It's not about what happened with Xia Li and Xia Li kicking the head off of one of the security men, which I'll talk about in a minute. This is not about that. This is about if they believe she's good enough to maintain that title. Look, guys, whether you like it or not, this is a test for, pretty much for Lara Valkyria. To see if she can connect with the fans. See if she can maintain her position by going to talk to people. Because she's going to go around to all of the outlets and talk. She's going to go to radio. She's going to basically, as NXT champion, she's got commitments. This is to test her, to see if she has what it takes. Because no matter what you think, just because you win the damn title, does not mean, like, when it comes to Shawn Michaels or Triple H or Vince McMahon or Bruce Pritchard believes you are perfect for the position. They're going to test you. Next to having to still have a rigorous schedule working NXT or maybe going to the main roster. You never know. She may go to the main roster too and go back and forth with that. You never know. She's going to be going to TV. She's going to be doing radio and she's going to be doing appearances. When you're in that position, you're representing the company, even if it's the most lowest tier they got. So she is going to be tested. If she don't look good, they're going to take that damn title off her and she's going to go from here, there. Did she talk well? For her first time as a champion, it was choppy. But I'm not surprised. It's the first time as a champion in the company that she's speaking. So when Xia Li came out talking pretty much she wants that title, and pretty much after knocking a concussion into a Becky Lynch, she knocks a concussion into one of the security guards. Nice round kick, I'll say that. It was a nice damn round kick she did. And just in case if anybody want to know what she looked like without the makeup on, I forgot who the guy's name is, but he's a chiropractor that works on WWE, AEW, and several other wrestlers or former wrestlers. He actually did Kurt Angle a couple of days ago. I think I may leave a connection below to his channel so you can, I think Xia Li was there. I'll have to check and see if I can find it. If not, I'll just leave a connection to his channel so you can see it yourself. It's hilarious. Seeing some of these people have never had chiro, or particularly had chiro, it is so funny to watch. And I love it. And I do believe Xia Li did have one of those along with Wendy Chu. She was screaming her ass off. But seeing her there, why? Why? Xia Li is on Raw. Shouldn't she be trying to find a way to become #1 contender? Try to mess up what's going on with Zoe Starks? No. She's been thrown down to NXT because they got nothing for her to do. Because she was supposed to challenge Becky. That didn't happen. Now they're throwing her on NXT going against the brand split. You got Lia Valkyria, who is an NXT wrestler who may end up on Raw eventually. I know they may throw her over there just to see how she's going to sink or swim. And Xia Li, who is a Raw wrestler going back to NXT because they got nothing for her to do. And they keep breaking the rules, which is hurting War Games. I heard with Just Alex. No, not Just Alex. JD talked about it, and he's right. What happened if they do not throw Roman into War Games? What, do you care? Do you going to care about War Games? You're going to care about Survivor Series? Roman has to be there. If the rumor is true that he's not going to be there, and the Usos are not going to be facing each other in War Games because it's now supposedly they just stated that War Games is going to be a Raw exclusive. Are you fucking kidding me? Raw exclusive. They're going to make that a Raw exclusive. What happens with the people on SmackDown? What happens to LA Knight? He should be in the War Games. I agree with JD. But if they make it a Raw exclusive, and it's not going to be, but then they lie about it, and then they break the brand split again, because that's a brand split thing, of exclusively making it to Raw. And now they're going to start trying to go around it again by making it that a few people that get hurt, like Cody gets hurt, or someone else gets hurt. It's stupid. I'm moving on. Now, Otis versus Drew Gulak. This was because of a backstage thing. Because of what happened with Akira Tozawa. He did not win. And you see Drew's guys together. You see Chad's guys together. I'm thinking maybe Chad and Drew will go up against each other. No. It's Otis and Drew. I would rather seen Otis go up against Dempsey. Or Otis go up against Damon Kemp. But Otis going up against Drew Gulak? No. Not because Otis can't wrestle and Drew can't wrestle. I would rather see the leaders go up against each other because one of them was insulting one of his people. And it should be leader to leader. No. In the end, Otis wins, which hurts Drew. Because how is he going to be interesting? Next, let's talk about the... I'm going to tell you this. Was the majority of the segments alright? It was alright. We got a little talk from Mick Foley because he was setting up some of the matches for the how can I say this? Mick Foley being involved in the product is fine. Having him be the one that's choosing the Iron Survivor Challenge. I'm botching here because it would have been better if Mick Foley had been there instead of over webcam, because that's cheap. That's what's messing me up. Because look, why couldn't you pay Mick Foley to fly out, come to NXT, and at least say he's going to be doing those matches? He's going to be, he came there, said, I'll be setting up the first matches, but then I'll be doing it later over satellite. That would have been better instead of him just doing it there. That's just cheap. Look, when it came to the women here, I can understand. It made sense. And when it came to, look, Tyler Bates made sense. When it came to Dijak, makes sense. They had a great match. I kind of wish it wasn't, well, one of them couldn't go forward going into the PLE. But, of course, I didn't expect Tyler Bates to do anything because they really haven't done anything much with him. And that's sad. Tyler Bates, big, strong boy, really has personality. He can wrestle well, but where has he gone? He hasn't won the Heritage Cup. He hasn't won the North American Championship. He hasn't won the NXT Championship. Has he been in a high-profile storylines? No, not really. He's been a supporting member of a storyline, never a major person in the storyline. Not much. Maybe in a light feud, like with Dijak, but nothing major. And the match was fine. That was for the Iron Survivor Challenge for both of them. Of course, Dijak won because Dijak has been pushed a lot more than anyone else because he's the most strongest heel they got next to Baron Corbin, who did talk to a Tyler Bates and made it very clear that you ain't going to get anywhere. I got a better option. And then you have Tyler now gone. You got Baron Corbin who's being set up to start something with Dragunov, which I do see could work. But that was it. Let's get to the final thing to talk about. The rage is real. I think that was the title I put on my review. The rage is real. Melo and Trick finally having their moment together. Let me give it to you like this. Trick and Melo. I know 100% this was coming. Do I wish it was for a title? Yes. Because I feel that Carmelo Hayes is at the point now, by maybe next year, he will finally go to the main roster because he's ready. This should be Trick Williams' time, not Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams at this point. Trick Williams should have been all by himself for the last year. Carmelo Hayes could have left last year. He could have left in 2022. And this would have been the time for Trick Williams to build up in. But they look like they're stretching into 2024. At the last moment, maybe. If we're lucky, they will do this at the PLE. I can't believe I'm calling deadline a PLE. Yeah. But anyway, what happens? Melo comes out, calls out Trick. Trick comes out. Trick is angry. He's not angry because he thinks 100% that his boy nailed him before that match. He's more mad that his boy has never been in his corner. That he's always been there for his boy. He's always been there for Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo's always said, we have always been together. We have always been Trick Metal Game. And I've always been there for you. And he says, no, you haven't. Because I made sure with the music, you always fighting for your titles. I've been on point, which he has. But when it was my time, he made it very clear, my time, where have you been? He said, look, I've always said like months ago. Shouldn't have been years ago. This is where you know that it probably was him who nailed him. Because he said, when you talked to John Cena, I told you that months ago. Really? Why don't you tell your boy that years ago? He could have said that. That just shows you more questions than answers. And then Trick makes it very clear. But as he's saying it, Alexin King, is it Lexa King? Or is it Alexa? Alexin. Yeah, I think it's Alexin. No, Alexis. Sorry. I'm still trying to remember pretty much Brian Pillman Jr.'s new name. So Alexis King comes out and says, you actually believe it's him? Couldn't it be someone else? Couldn't it have been someone new who's trying to make a name? And pretty much, Trick made it very clear. Why you get out of my face? This is meant for the adults. Get the hell out of here, kid. That's what he was pretty much saying. But as he's getting annoyed more and more by King, Trick saying, pretty much Trick is like in his head, you know what? I'm going to knock this fucker out. I'm going to blow up that fist. And as he's turning, he nails Melo in the face. And King walks out unscathed, clean and safe. other than when he couldn't put his glasses in his leather jacket. He's looking for it right here, and he had to throw it to the ground. That was the only time when he botched. But that's what we get. And as you see from my thumbnail, Melo gets lifted up by Trick, and he apologizes, hugging him. And Melo has that look like, this motherfucker just hit me. This bastard hit me in my damn face. I'm going to whip that ass. That is the look that someone would give when next to them supposedly not realizing that you possibly have fucked them over, that it looks like he believed it, but then some got in the way of it, and you just got hit in the face when you were getting away with it, and now you're even more angry that you got away with it, but still got hit because of it. That's the look he's giving. Do I feel this story? Yes. I feel this story more than what I've been seeing on Raw or SmackDown. Yeah. I'm telling you right now. As I said in the very opening of this video, when it comes to Shawn Michaels, he's doing 101 booking. He's not doing anything extravagant, anything over the top. General booking. Like they did back in the early 90s, and maybe some of it in the Attitude Era, and a little bit of old NXT Black and Gold. A little bit. But he ain't following exactly. But this is 101 booking. But I feel more here with this story of Trick and Melo than practically most of the stuff that's on the main roster. Because guess what? When you hear like a Just Alex or JD, they can't stand it. And I understand why. Pretty much NXT is not what they love. It's been rewritten so many times it looks like garbage. But Shawn is doing some things good. Not saying everything. He's not. He's still got to listen whatever Triple H, or if Vince got control back, whatever Vince tells him. But he's going to make at least enough of his own work. This got more story than it feels. Out of any of the stories that's going on in WWE, this is one of the more stronger ones that actually has legs. Hopefully they'll book it correctly by deadline. But it's just me. Peace.